What's up guys, Alex here, GuitarForce.com. So as you can see today we're going to take a look at Gypsy Eyes by Jimi Hendrix. This was requested and supported by Phil, so big thanks goes out to him. This is going to be a two-part lesson. I'm going to cover the whole song, but we're just going to divide it into two parts because it's just too big. And also keep in mind that the version that we're going to transcribe is taken from the studio version, Electric Ladyland. And the problem there is that there are two, sometimes even three guitars going on at the same time. So what I did, I kind of put some of the parts from both guitars and put them into one, so you can play the whole song on one guitar. The tabs and the backing track are going to be available as a bundle at GuitarForce.com. The link is going to be in the description box down below. Also, if you haven't had a chance to check out my course on Jimi Hendrix's style of playing, which is called Get Experienced, it's in two parts, a huge lesson, more than 4 hours altogether, lots of information. I'm not going to go into too much detail in this lesson, but if you're interested, check it out. The link is also going to be in the description box down below. There is a small video explaining the whole thing, so check it out. I'm also going to post a link to the cover playthrough of this song, which is going to be on my other channel. The link is going to be in the description box down below, so you can check it out. The tuning for this song is going to be half step down on all the strings, and for the sound I was using the guitar rig, the VST plug-in guitar rig, and I'm going to show you the picture of the preset right now. And while you are checking it out, I'm going to play you my low E string so you can tune up and play along with this lesson. Alright guys, so let's go for the close-up and start this lesson. Alright, so we're going to start off with the intro riff, which goes like this. Okay, so now just keep in mind, because we have two guitars going on there, we're going to combine some of the parts from guitar number 1 and also from guitar number 2. So starts off with the pick scrapes. So on the strings, just on the random strings, maybe on the lower, because we have that particular sound going on. So it starts off on the beat number 4 before we go into the next bar. So on beat number 4, so we have 1, 2, 3, and then on the 4th we make the pick scrapes here. And then we go into the riff itself. So we're going to break it up into parts. So the first part goes like this slowly. So it starts off with a grace note, a quick hammer on the D string from the 5th to the 7th fret. And then we do two pull-offs on the same frets. So we have like that. Then we go to the low E, 8th fret, and then coming back to the D string, 7th fret. So the first part. After that, we have some dead strings going on in a 16th notes rhythm. So we have 6 of these, and then we play, the last note is going to be on the low E string, 5th fret. So altogether this first part is going to be like this slowly. Then we go into the second riff, the second part of the riff, which is, the beginning is the same, so we have again up until here. Then we have another 5 dead strings going on, and after we play the 5 times dead strings, we then hit with an upstroke the double stop, which is on 5th fret of the B and the G strings. So altogether this second part is going to be like this slowly. Then the third part we have. So again, the beginning is the same, and then it's followed by 4 16th notes dead strings. And then we have, it's a bend on the 8th fret on the B string, and then you pull off to the 5th fret, and then you go into trill on the D string between 5th and 7th frets. So you play the trill for 2 beats, 1, 2, and then we have just picking randomly the A minor chord, like that. So we have like that. So that's the first part of the intro, all of the little elements that we have. I'm going to play all of it slowly so you can see what's going on. So it goes like this. Okay, then after that we go into this vocalized melody which Jimmy is singing the lyrics, and he plays the same notes on the guitar, so it goes like this. Now, like I said, because there are 2 guitars, he actually doubles that up an octave higher, so he plays here. So basically what we do, we play on the A minor pentatonic, so it starts off on the B string, so we go 5, 8, then you bend up, bring it down, then bend up again. Then we have, so you pick the 8th fret again on the B string. Then you go to the G string 7th frets, you bend it up, bring it down, pull off to the 5th fret. Then you go, so it's 7, 5, 7. So all together. Then we have, so it's a quick hum around 5 to 7 on the D string. Then we go to the G string 5 to 7 and you bend it up. And you go quickly to the 8th fret of the B string. Then we have 2 bends, 7th fret on G string. Second bend, you bring it down, pull off to the 5, and then you play the trill on the D string between 5th and 7th. So all together. And then the second part. So we slide into the 7th fret on the D string, then we go 5, 7 on G, again 5, 7, bend it up, 8th fret again on the B string, and again 2 bends on the 7th fret of the G string after the B string on the 8th fret. Then again bring it down, pull off to the 5th, and then go back again to the trill between the 5th and 7th on the D string. So one more time, the whole phrase is going to be like this. Now keep in mind, like I said, this is doubled up an octave higher, so we go to the 17th and 20th positions and we play basically the same. Okay, so it's exactly the same melody line but an octave higher, and that's the melodic line that Jimmy is playing while singing the lyrics. Alright, so after the vocal line we go back to playing the intro riff, but it's going to be slightly different to what we've done so far. So I'm going to play it through once and then we're going to break it down. So it goes like this. Alright, so here we start off with the low E string on the 5th fret, the A note. Then we go for the double stop on the 5th fret of the B and the G strings. Then we play the pull-offs on the D, 7 to 5 2 times. Then go into the low E 8th fret and return into the D string on the 7th fret. So we have. And before we start actually playing this riff, so we have the slide out from the higher frets. You know, just you can hit a few strings, doesn't matter which ones. And then we go into. So after we play the first part, after the last note, which is on the 7th fret of the D string, we then add the dead strings here again, so 4/16 notes. So the first part, like that. Then we repeat again. Now here, the first part is exactly the same what we did so far. The dead strings are going to be slightly different. It's three notes instead of 4. So we have like that. Okay. Then again we play, and again 4/16 notes dead strings. Again repeating the first part, so the low E string 5th fret, double stop. Then we have the pull off 7 to 5, and then when going back to 7 we slide up, and we're going to be playing this double stop, which is 13th fret on the B string and 12th fret on the high E. And we play 4/16 notes, and then the last note is an 8th note, and we slide out. So that's that part after the vocal line. I'm going to play it, all of the parts slowly, so you can see what's going on. So it goes like this. Alright, so after that, after the slide out from the double stop here, we then go into the next part, which is kind of before the verse, and it goes like this. Okay, so here we have this part, which is 3rd fret to the 5th on the low E string, 8 notes. Then we go and play the same thing, so it's playing an octave higher, so it's going to be on the D string 5 to 7, and the 7th fret on the D string is going to be 2/16 notes. So we have, one more time. Okay, so instead of an 8th note, 2/16 notes. And we play it for 2 times. Then we have, so it's again 3rd fret to the 5th on the low E, and then we have this double stop. It's a bend on the 7th fret, B and the G strings, and gradual release. Then we repeat the first part again. So when we go to the double stop second time, we play it a quick bend up and down, and then we go again play this double stop that we did before that, which is on the 13th fret on the B string and 12th on the high E, and we play it 5 notes, 5/16 notes, and we slide out. Okay, so one more time, the whole part slowly is going to be like this. Alright, so after this pre-verse part, we go into the verse itself, and again, keep in mind there are 2 guitars going on, but we're going to combine them into one. And first of all, I'm going to play through the whole section, and then we're going to break it down. So it goes like this. Okay, so we start off with this double stop on the 5th fret of the B and the G strings. So we play 3 of these. Just keep in mind the rhythm. So we have a 8th notes, dotted 8th notes, and then it's followed by 16th note. And then we play the third time, and we go into straight 8th notes. So we have. So after the first 3 times when we play the double stop on the 5th fret, we go into the 7th fret. So we pick it, bend it up slightly, then bring it down, and then back again to the 5th fret, and then 7 on the D string. So like that, and then we return to the 5th frets of the B and the G strings again. And then we have this lick which is played on the 2nd guitar, but we can play it here. So it's a bend on B string, 8th fret, and as you bend it up, you then catch the G string on the 8th fret and gradually bring it down. That's the trick that Jimmy did a lot. So after you bring down the G string, you then play 7, 5, and then go to the 7th fret on the D. So altogether this part slot is going to be like this. Then we repeat the first part again. And then there is a second lick which is. So it's a quick one, kind of repetitive. So we go 7th fret on D, then we go to 5, 7 on the G, bend it up, bring it down, pull off to the 5, and then go back to the 7th fret on the D, and then repeat. So it's going to be like that 2 times. Then again we repeat the first part. So returning here. And just playing just random notes here. I mean, they're very inaudible, but you can kind of hear that he's playing between 5 and 7 on the D strings. On the D string between 5 and 7 frets. I'm sorry. Something like that. And then we have. So here we have B string 8 to 5. Then going to G7, and we have little rests in between the notes. So we have, so it's 7, 5 on G, and then we go 7 on D, and then 7 to 5 on the G string again, like that. So we have like that, and then we have. So it's hitting the dead strings here, and then going into this bend which is on the 7th fret of the G string, while at the same time picking fretting the 8th fret on the B string. And then you pick it a few more times, and then gradually kind of release the G string, pull off to the 5, and then go into the next section. So I'm going to play the whole section again with all the licks, but slowly, so it goes like this. After that part, we go back to the pre-verse, which is. So it's exactly the same as we did before that, before the first verse. And then we go straight into the second verse. Alright, so the second verse, it's basically the same thing what we did during the first verse, at least the first part. So this part stays the same. Right? Now the licks that we're going to play are going to change. So the first lick goes like this. So now we're going to play them here at the 17 and 20 position of the A minor pentatonic. The first lick is we have 3 bends on the B string, 20th fret, and then we play 17, 20 and bend it up. So we have like that. So when we combine this part with the first part, it's going to be like this, slowly. So we cut off that double stop, the last double stop, which is on the 5th fret of the B and the G strings. So we have. So when we play the 7th fret on the D, we then go right up to. That is if you want to combine these 2 guitars. This is played on 2 separate guitars, but we're combining these into one. Then we have again the first part. So here it's the full one, and then we go right into the next lick, which is again moving up to the this position here. So we bend the 19th fret of the G string, while at the same time fretting the 20th fret of the B string. And it's a gradual release. So you release the G string, then play 17, and then 19 on the D, and slide out. So all together, slowly it's going to be like this. And then again the first part. And then again we move up to the to this position right here, and we play this lick. So now we bend the G string 19th fret, then we play 17, and then we have 2 bends. So the first one is kind of not the full step, but kind of going to the 18, and then the second is bigger. And then we slide out from the 19th fret of the D string. So we have like that. So when we combine that with the first part, it's going to be like this, slowly. And then after that we go into, again, into this ending that which is exactly the same as we did with the in the first verse. Alright? So now when I put all of these parts of the second verse together, slowly it's going to be like this. Alright, so that's the second verse, and then we go into the next part, into the next riff, and before that we have a little break on the drums, and the riff itself goes like this. Now, before we go into this riff, there is a little kind of pickup lick that Jimmy is playing, which goes like that. And then we go into the riff. So the lick, which is played before the riff, is it's a bend on the G string, 7 frets. Starts off on the offbeat, so we go 1, 2, 3, and. Okay, so on the 3 ands we bend up the string. 1, 2, 3, like that. So we bend the G string on the 7th fret, and then we go 5 on B, 5 on high E, back to the B string 5, and then we have a pull off 7 to 5 on the G string. And then we go into the riff itself, which is. So that's the whole riff, and it's repetitive. So the whole thing here is in the rhythm, so just listen carefully to that. And we play between 7 and 5 on the D string. So it's going to be. Now these last two notes are going to be 5, 6 going to the 7 to the beginning of the riff. So one more time slowly. Okay, and then we continue playing this riff. Now we play this for 3 times. And then 4th time, instead of playing this second note, which is on the 5th fret of the D string, we play it 5th fret on the low E. So we have. Okay, so that's the only difference here. Just one note. Instead of playing 5 on D, we play 5 on low E. And rhythmically it stays the same, and again we have 5, 6 on the D, these last 2 notes on the D string going to the 7th fret. So one more time with the pickup bar, slowly is going to, on the pickup lick, I'm sorry, it's going to be like this. 1, 2, 3. Alright guys, so that was it for part 1. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Also comment, share, subscribe if you're new to my channel. Don't forget to visit GuitarForce.com for more guitar related stuff. Stay tuned for part 2. I'll see you in the next video, and as always, let the force be with you.